0.84. Okay. Anyway, I'm Brett Hashimoto, Mayor of Corrales. I'm calling this PSECC meeting to order on Tuesday, February 17, 2026. Roll call. We just go down one by one and see who we are. You want to do that?
Sure.
Amber
Cantrell, Operations Manager for Sandoval County Dispatch.
Yvonne Fox, 911 Director for PSECC of Sandoval County.
Brett Hashimoto, Mayor of Corrales.
Chairman of County Commission Sandoval.
Anthony Martinez, Chief, Corrales Fire.
I'll sit in on Eric Masterson on the Deputy County Manager. And we're working on getting a member of local online, right?
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
And running our Zoom today is our new village clerk. Her name is Mandy Wolf. And I am Melanie Romero, formerly village clerk and now village administrator.
Cool. Yeah, yes, is that correct? Are you part of this group or? Are the people in the audience part of this group?
Mr. Mayor,
Or
no,
just attendees?
they're attending, can help out with questions or something of that nature, sir.
Okay, the next item is the election of chair. Can I have nominations for us there?
Yeah, 1, 2, 3, we do. Yeah.
The government board meeting, but I have another meeting after this one, same one.
Have we managed to get
Huh?
Santa Ana online?
No, I didn't get hold of anybody. I was gonna go down there myself at 11. No, I didn't. I was gonna attend it right here in White Center. Okay, I'll do it right now.
Mr. Christopher, can you state who you're with?
Yeah, I'm with the Santa Ana Police Department, Lieutenant.
Great. Are you sitting in for, as a member, or are you sitting in just participating today, sir?
I'm sitting as a member, as representative of the Santa Ana Travel Police Department.
From the governor's office? Okay.
Yes.
All right. Thank you. Okay. So we have four members present, Mr. Mayor. Yes, we have the quorum.
Cool. Okay, well, I have nominations for chair then.
Mr. Chair, I'd like to nominate you,
Yes.
Mayor, as chair to continue.
Any seconds?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
All right. Aye.
Any opposed, say no. Thank you very much. I guess I'm the chair.
Welcome, Mayor.
No, I think this is a really important committee, actually. I've done a little homework. I've heard from Rio Rancho. I've heard from others. And I think this is a key committee for all of our communities, so I'm glad to help. May I have a motion to approve the agenda, please?
So moved.
Any second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay? Motion carries. Approval of the minutes.
Excuse me one second, Mayor. When you do a motion in a second, can you say which entity you're from? Since Mandy's new, she doesn't know who everybody is yet. And so just to help with the minutes, if you could help us with that by stating, Corrales moves Sandoval County second.
So it was motion by Sandoval County, second by Corrales. Yes, ma'am.
And this is approval of the minutes of the last meeting was in November 18, 2025. So do we have a motion to approve the minutes? We do.
Mayor, I make a motion to approve the minutes.
Any second?
Sandoval County seconds.
Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All right.
Opposed? Okay, motion carries. Next item is approval of resolution, Open Meetings Act.
Mis-
And
Mr. Chairman, if I may, and just for some transparency, Mr. Mayor, I've been a part of this group for many years. And as Yvonne has come on board, I've kind of sat up here to try to assist as we transition over the last several months. So I'll continue in that role today as we move forward. And then eventually you'll see me be a part of the audience and Yvonne will take the lead on this. We do have the resolutions for the Open Meetings Act. However, we have a little bit of an administrative error and we forgot to print them out and bring them. So I apologize about that. It is the standard Open Meetings Act that this body has passed and the previous SCREC had passed for year over year. Kind of says the same exact language. All we did was update the dates. If you want to see that prior to, we can actually defer this item and bring it to the next meeting if you so choose. Or we can proceed here. Apologies that we forgot to get that printed and get that over to you. So I defer to your guidance, sir.
And has the Open Meetings Act changed any from the last year to this year?
Just the dates, sir. That's the only thing that has changed.
Do people feel comfortable with passing the Open Meetings Act?
Mr. Mayor, I have a question, or Mr. Chair.
Yes.
So I guess the question would be for the rules on if we passed it, because in the minutes we had already voted it in I believe June or whenever the first meeting. Is it a calendar year or is it a
Don't know.
more?
It depends on what the last resolution said. I think you can't go wrong
Okay.
adopting it again for the new calendar year. I just don't remember what the dates were that we had when we adopted it last June.
Yeah, and I don't have a copy in front of me. So,
Okay.
Mr. Chair, I feel comfortable as long as nothing has been changed. There's no clerical. We did not publish and post this. We did not. Yeah. So that's my only concern on the record.
Right. And but do we need an Open Meeting Act to proceed, or can we postpone it till the next meeting?
You can postpone it till the next meeting if need be.
And
But-
Mr. Chair, not to disagree or be disagreeable, most of the time you do this at the first meeting of the calendar year. And what we could do is bring it back, go ahead and pass it now and then bring it back at the next meeting so that we do have coverage during,
Okay.
During
Yeah,
the
that
year.
was my concern too, that
and then just
The
bring it
first
back
meeting.
and do a validation or I'm looking for the right.
Yeah, it's no, it's oh yeah, validation isn't the word.
Basically, yeah, no, it's
yeah.
not the right, but that's what we're doing.
I know what word you're looking for
Affirm.
and I can't pull it up in my brain, but yeah.
Yes. Confirmation, validation along those lines so that we'll just bring it back to the next meeting. as
yeah,
well.
my concern was we do need to pass it before, at this first meeting, and we don't have it. But if people feel comfortable with passing what was the Open Meetings Act for last year, I feel comfortable. So is there a motion to approve the Open Meetings Act?
Motion by Sandoval County.
Any second?
Corral seconds.
Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries, and we'll bring it back for confirmation next time. Cool. Dispatch center update, Yvonne.
Hi. Just a few quick things. We're getting ready to send 5 of our employees to get state certified, which is in compliance with the state. The state allows us a year from the time of hire, from the date of hire, to get their certification. So Amber will speak more on that here in a little bit. We allocated 2 of the dispatcher positions to create a new supervisor position. Due to operational need, it became apparent that we needed that supervisor position. And as we move forward with hiring, it's listed right now on the county website, but as we move forward with hiring and getting them trained, we'll then have the supervisor focus on our NCIC TAC duties and administrative portion of that, but while also assisting the other supervisors. And that'll just help with the operational need of the amount of call volume and things that we've kind of discovered since opening. I handed out the CAD statistical report. It's just
Yeah, I did. She's got it. She's going to do another now.
I handed out the CAD statistical report, and this is just the CAD calls for service per agency for 6 months. Obviously, we don't have 1 year's stats yet, but this is just an overview of the last 6 months of the CAD reports that we've been logging each public safety agency on. With the CAD report, just for a little bit of information, when we started the center in July, prior to when we received the CAD, we had Ryan Slota do an overhaul on the CAD, meaning we took out certain nature codes that were being utilized and as being logged as CAD calls for service, like lunches and out of service stuff that, like going to court, or they were being given a CAD number, and that's not an accurate representation of actual calls for service. So when we started, we redid that. This is actual calls for service that each agency has responded to within the last 6 months. And at the fiscal year, we're going to be asking to reallocate to reopen those 2 dispatcher positions and the assistant 911 director position. And that'll also continue to help with our demands of dispatching and the call volume that we're starting to realize is that we actually have within the county.
I have a question.
Sure.
What is the staffing level right now?
The staffing level right now is 14 dispatchers. We have 3 temporary employees who are experienced dispatchers who are working.
They're part of the 14?
No,
We have 7 to them.
right.
And
And I don't include them necessarily in staffing because they're temporary and they are not a part of the salary in the sense that they're getting benefits within the county. They are a baseline pay and they help when we are showing a deficit in the staffing level.
the staffing has been 17 for a while, or?
No, we have actually 8 that are trained and 9 that are trained in dispatching right now.
Actually, I have personal experience. I was a little concerned with about a week ago on our home answering machine. There was a call from Sandoval County Dispatch Center about a call we made and from West Lawn Child. And they said they were going to send an officer out. We missed the call. We weren't home. But nobody from that phone made that call. And I don't know what happened. And another thing that was errant perhaps was we live on East Lantrada, and the dispatch woman said a call from West Lantrada. So West and East got sort of confused. And I would guess on any automated type of display, the phone number comes up. So no matter whether it's East or West, you got the phone number. So this dispatcher must have confused West with East, and we live on East, picked up our phone number and called us, but we didn't make the call. This has happened, and I was totally surprised. I looked into the call and I figured, is this person trained correctly? And does this person have the data in front of her to really make the correct call? I mean, because she said it was from West Lantrada. I live on East La Entrada. Maybe somebody from West La Entrada dialed 911, but that person should have had that number. Was just a caller ID type of thing, and that number should have been called, not my number, who lives on East La Entrada.
Right.
So I was-
So there's several, we would have to look into it because there's several scenarios that could have happened in that. If it was a 911 call, the call came in, I mean, we would have to look into why they dialed your phone number and what number actually came into the center. Did they get your number from history? There's just so many things that we would need to look into, but I can get the information from you after the meeting and then we can research it.
Give you the time of the call and the.
Okay, okay.
Mr. Chair, if I may.
Yes.
So, not to interject here, but there's things that we need to catch you up on that's transitioning through this whole dispatch transition.
Right.
One of them is the rule addressing in the village of Corrales. And our planning and zoning administrator and I, Melanie has been involved. They're reevaluating center lines of roads, addressing. With you stating that, it kind of rings a bell that we had an incident that I believe was from a 911 only phone. And we were all doing our due diligence to try to find the calling party and the residents. So it may have been as simple, I don't know until you research it, but these things happen where we get 911 calls and it triangulates to a plotted area, which Corrales is not updated. And so sometimes the law enforcement officers, fire department, and dispatch are all doing their best looking at maps and calling residents that may have similar numbers, reverse numbers because of dyslexia or something, and roads that may sound the same, just to try to find if someone is in need of an emergency response. So we can talk, offline, and I can try to catch you up on years of trying to fix some of this addressing issues.
No, I understand. I'm not being critical. I'm just, presenting this different information that, it happened to a random resident. And, we have to get up to speed, but I understand there are a lot of logistics involved. And Corrales is part of that, but and it's difficult in Corrales, I think, but as I said, I just presented it as a point issue. It's just, hey, if this happens, what is the root cause? How can we make it better? That's
No, that's a valid question, especially if no one was home and called. There's also history too, especially, I'm not sure if you have a landline. There's so many scenarios. If you have a landline, sometimes the landlines, if it rains and is windy, it dials 911. I don't know what that anomaly is with the landlines, but that happens as well. They just randomly start dialing 911. We actually have a business in Bernalillo that continually calls 911 and nobody's calling 911. So, those types of things happen, but I will look into it.
No, I understand. And just looking at the data, I'm pleased because I look at numbers all the time that the data for Corrales, and I just looked at Anthony's report half an hour ago, and that's how many calls, EMS calls,
Right.
fire department received in the last 6 months, and it's accurate to the numbers. So
Right.
cool.
Yes, our Ryan Slota, who actually does our radio communications, he worked diligently to make sure that when we were going live, that we would at least have the closest to accurate results as possible by taking out some of those codes that were being utilized that were not accurate. So everything we started for the last 6 months has been actual calls for service.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And I think that's it. That's all I have for the update. One more thing. Anthony and Chief Martinez and Amber, we've been meeting with the agencies for the ops board, to just try and see what operational concerns within the county that some of the agencies have, and seeing if we can answer any questions on a level that doesn't necessarily need to be brought to the board, that may have been concerns with what has been happening within their agency.
Good.
That's all I have for an update.
And the number of staff you have, is that adequate to cover what you need to cover, you think?
Well, now that we have the ones in training, we have one more dispatcher position we're hiring for, and that should bring us up to speed.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Any questions for Yvonne? Thank you very much, then. Budget update.
Mr. Chairman, I'm going to take this one and then this will kind of transition into item number 9, but we'll get to that in just a second and kind of talk about where these numbers came from. I handed everyone a budget, a 3-page budget kind of breakdown. And the first page, Mr. Chairman, members of the board, is kind of where we're at currently with the budget. The top portion is our revenue. And you'll see that we have collected some revenue from some of the agencies. We still have a lot of revenue that we're anticipating from the partner agencies. We'll be sending out kind of an update here shortly to try to see where we're at with some of those payments coming forward. So, but that's where we're at with the revenue. The first column there is what our budget was. The column on the far right is how much is outstanding. And then down below, Mr. Chairman, members of the board, are all of our expenses. Again, that first column is what our budget was for this fiscal year. And then that second column is what we have remaining. And then a percentage breakdown to the right of it. What I will say, Mr. Chairman, is those numbers look good right now. And I do believe that we will have carryover allotments. So that is good news where we're at right now. We're doing okay fiscally. I'm going to go ahead and, Mr. Chair, if I can, just present the whole budget and then allow for any questions. If you go to the second page, this is kind of the position breakdown. And as the director was just commenting, we did vacate 2 positions recently to support an additional supervisor position that was needed. However, with the anticipated growth that continues to occur, the director is going to be requesting 3 positions for the next fiscal year, the activation of the assistant director, and then we reactivate those 2 vacant positions that were recently just vacated to support the supervisor position. And that'll help, Mr. Chairman, and the director can speak more to this, but there are some shifts that are slower, other shifts that are busier. So we may have to kind of reallocate staff around, but that would support those efforts moving forward. So that's what that is showing us. And then the third page, Mr. Chairman, is the current budget and then the proposed budget moving forward. I'm going to start with the bottom portion. That's the expense portion of what we anticipate for FY27. That's really critical. We need to make sure that we pay the staff. So we're looking at a budget of 2.8 million in order to make sure that we have that allocated appropriately. We're looking at a proposed 4% increase to the members for this fiscal year. That, in addition to the carryover that I'm anticipating, which is that $800,000 in the middle of the page there, which I do believe actually will be a little bit higher. But between that carryover and the 4% increase, that comes out to that 2.8 million. Our expense proposal is 2.8 million. Obviously, we're a couple $100 off, but I'll reconcile that prior to the budget actually being approved. Mr. Chairman, just for your reference and for the rest of the board, the JPA really wants us to start these conversations now. This is just a proposal. And obviously, we'll want to, in the next few months, formalize this a little bit more formally. But as we know, all of the agencies are starting to work on their FY27 budget. So we wanted to make sure we got this to you early. So I know that was a really quick down and dirty. I'm happy to answer any questions, but I wanted to get this to you before you today. So with that, Mr. Chair, I'll stand for any questions.
Comment I would have is, could we get this before the meeting?
Yes, sir.
Because, looking at this for me particularly, there's a lot of numbers.
Sure.
And you're going from page to page and I'm trying to keep track, but, if we can get this several days at least before the meeting, it would help. And also for the, for the call data, if we can get, sort of like a packet we do for council.
Yep.
We get it 4 days before the meeting, and it helps to be able to go through the numbers, and one has questions, they can say, hey, Brett, I have a question. And because, but
sure,
I assume these are fine.
And we do strive to do that, Mr. Mayor. We're still learning this process too, but we will absolutely start working on getting this stuff out well ahead of time. And as these numbers are just now being presented, if we need to look at something more of a workshop in a month from now, as the budgets start really ramping up, we'd be happy to do something of that nature. So we don't have to wait till the next quarterly meeting. I feel like we should probably talk about this a little bit more ahead of time. Once you've had once the members have had a chance to look at it with their respected agencies.
Okay, cool.
Mr. Chair, I have a question.
Yes.
Mr. Masterson, I have a couple questions on this budget. So I don't see anything here reflecting like E911 or any other outside monies coming in broken down. Maybe I'm not following the flow chart.
No, you're right, Mr. Chairman and Chief Martinez. That is something that Yvonne and I talked about, and I apologize. We've talked about that for years, right? So the 911 budget this year from DFA, I don't remember the exact amount, but
It's 3 million.
3 million. It was a huge amount of money, and we'll get you that breakdown as well, Mr. Chairman. That is something that Yvonne and I talked about actually yesterday about making sure we start to include in this budget, because I know we've talked about it before. Showing, even though it doesn't reflect, it doesn't impact what the agencies will pay, it's important for the members to know what DFA is contributing towards.
Correct.
And some of the things that are on here, Chief, you'll see some of our maintenance contracts. We're reducing some of those costs and things of that nature, because the recurring revenue that we're getting from DFA to pay for some of the maintenance agreements, electricity, utilities, things of that nature, is going to allow us to drive some of these other costs down so that we can focus on the staff. I'll get you those numbers. I'll get you what it looks like we're projected to do, so that you kind of know what DFA is helping support us with too. In addition to that, Mr. Chairman, Chief Martinez, we were very lucky last year. Between geo bonds and a lot of legislative support, we were able to get the center up and running and well funded. We know that that's not going to last forever with that legislative support. So that's why you're going to see some of these numbers shift. However, we were, I believe, impactful in the sense that we supported heavily DFA seeking permission really in the rule to start helping cover CAD costs too. It's not something that they've ever done before. So that's going to be another driving factor to where we'll really be allowed to really focus on the personnel, and DFA is going to help us cover a lot of these other costs. We'll have miscellaneous costs still, but those are good news. It's a long way of saying, Mr. Chairman, Chief Martinez, we'll get you those numbers for sure.
Yeah, and thank you for your clarification, Mr. Chair. My point is, seeing the ins and outs of the budget is really important for us to move forward to make a decision as we move forward with the 4% proposed increase. I guess my point is, if we can get more of these other items and try to keep a flat budget going into the next year, offset by DFA on things that they can cover, would be, appreciative.
Okay.
Also, Mr. Chair, I'd like to make, since we're talking on the budget, shout out to Sandoval County. These are things that I need to brief you on, but looking at the numbers, but Sandoval County has picked up a large portion of other things that we're not seeing reflected in this budget sheet that we are personally benefiting from, like a consultant that's looking at like I mentioned before, the addresses and stuff like that. That's no cost to Corrales, but we are benefiting from it. So thank you.
Thank you, Sandoval County.
Yeah, of course. We're making this right, Mr. Chairman. This is, and Chief Martinez and the other members are here, but I feel like we're already more transparent than we've ever been. We'll get you some of these updated numbers. And I know I'm a little biased, but I feel like the center is running very, very well. And I feel like the members are seeing that as well. So thank you, Mr. Chair.
So you feel pretty robust, and even though the state might retract a little bit from allocations to go get compensated money from.
Yeah, Mr. Chair, I think where we're going to see the difference is historically, we were getting money from like capital outlay and grow funds and things of that nature. We're not going to see that as much. However, they are allocating more money into DFA that then filters down to us. So it's a little bit of a wash. You can't necessarily always use those funds for salaries like you could the grow funds. But that's why you'll see kind of the funds shift. To Chief Martinez's point, you'll see these kind of maintenance costs, things of that nature come down, but personnel costs are going to go up. That's just the nature of the beast. But we'll continue to advocate with DFA to get them to pay for more and more, and we'll see where that goes. If I can, Mr. Chair, I'd like to have our county manager speak on this as well.
Mr. Chair, members, one of the things I was just sitting here thinking, perhaps we should go ahead and schedule another budget meeting for March.
Okay.
Because we don't want to get too far into your budget cycles, individual agency budget cycles, without us really having something nailed down a little bit more than we have today. So
Yeah, sounds good.
That's a recommendation. So, thank you.
Mr. Chairman, with your guidance, we can make that happen. We'll send out some availability for everyone unless there's any opposition. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, Fine. We don't need a motion for that,
No,
do we? I mean, we
no.
just-
You can
okay.
just direct me to do that, sir. I'll take care of it. Yes, sir.
Okay, let's have another meeting in March and look at the financial numbers.
Okay,
Good,
we'll make
thank you
that
very
happen.
much. Any more discussion on the budget update? Next item is dispatch fees, how to proceed with fees in the future. Yvonne.
Mr. Chairman, I'm going to jump on to Yvonne's thing and then I'll let her add anything else. I wanted to brief the members, Mr. Chairman, with you being new to the board and obviously the commissioner being new to the board. And we're going to talk about this in the ops meeting too, but the numbers on the first page up above that reflect all of the revenue items from all of the different partner agencies. I want to talk about where that comes from. In the old JPA, when we were still established with Rio Rancho, there was a decision made, I don't know, 20 years ago, Chief. I don't remember how long ago it was made, but basically they decided to calculate what the fees were based on minutes used in the CAD. So anytime you had a call, whether it was a 2-minute call, a 2-hour call, a 2-day call, they calculated how much time it took to keep track of those units. And then they basically assigned a fee to each minute. And I don't remember what the most recent was, 43 cents a minute or something of that nature. And that's where the money started coming from. Now, during COVID, there was some challenges with getting accurate data. That affected some of the numbers. So we just did some base increases based on previous years. And the numbers kind of went all over the place. Last year, Mr. Chairman, members, when we moved forward with kind of needing to get a budget established, we took the FY, what would that have been, 25 numbers from the SCR-ECC, the previous JPA agreement. And I basically requested, can I add 10% to those numbers because we don't have good accurate data right now? That'll at least get us going. The members approved that, and that's where you see the budget today for the current budget for the revenue side of things. That's where that number came from. As we talked back then, and I think we need to continue this conversation, that was just a flat, increase of 10%. What I'm asking for next year is a flat increase of 4%, unless we can find some other ways to reduce that. But it's just a flat 4% increase across the board. That's not necessarily based on anything. Though the director showed statistics for 6 months, I still think that there's some additional information that this body needs to consider as we move forward. Are we going to look at something charge per minute? Are we going to charge per call? Are we going to charge by another metric that we haven't discussed yet? And I don't feel like we have enough data or at this point to really have a good conversation. So, Mr. Chairman, I'm open to the ideas. This item was really to see if there's anyone that has any ideas or thoughts for us to look at. But I don't know that, I guess my advice would be, I don't want to implement any change for FY27. Let's keep it where we're at right now while we start to digest some of this data, get some additional information if you guys have questions or the operations group have questions, so that we can really dive into this after the start of the next fiscal year and really come up with a good metric moving forward on how we're going to charge people. That's in the best interest of everyone. So I'll leave it at that, Mr. Chair.
I think it's really healthy to look at different metrics and how other dispatch centers, what metrics they use.
Sure.
I mean, do they use combination of calls and minutes, or they have a proportion, or do they use other parameters, or how do they charge?
Absolutely, we can look into that. We can pull JPAs from all over the state to see what other people
be
do.
interesting to know how other people approach that issue.
Sure.
So,
and again, we can look at all that and dive into it and have some different proposals, after the beginning of the fiscal year, and really kind of show what the numbers would reflect based on maybe some of those different metrics.
and it might depend on experience of staff too,
Mhm.
because I would guess as staff get more experience, the calls maybe get shorter.
Sure.
Because you get, the more succinctly the information that you need, and
Sure.
is there a disincentive to make shorter, more succinct calls, or what's the best metric to use, as you said?
Yeah. And Mr. Chair, there's pros and cons to all of that. At one point, we had agencies that were not wanting to call out traffic stops. They didn't want to get charged for that. And so we don't want an officer safety issue or a firefighter safety issue. So we have to balance it a little bit too. We don't want to penalize anyone for having to use the air. However, being efficient on the air is something that should be incentivized as well. But we can look at all those. I think some agencies do population based. I don't know that that's ideal because we have so much, commuter traffic that go through our agencies, but we can look at a variety of these things, see what other agencies are doing and give some proposals for the governance group to, really adopt. The operations board will be updated about this as well. And that's why we felt for the chair and commissioner, we felt it was critical that a member of the operations board be on this governance because those operations members, will be discussing this as well. We want to make sure that their voice is heard on the governance. They're welcome to come to these, but then the chair of the operations board is part of this committee to make sure that everyone's voice is heard and has a say on how we proceed with this. Because when you start talking about money, there's some emotions, as you know, right, sir?
Right.
Director, do you have anything to add to that one?
No, I agree. I think it's the safest option to wait till we have a little bit more statistics and that we research with the other consolidated agencies throughout the state to see how they're charging.
Yeah.
I know some do like a city tax and that covers it. There's just so many other things that we can look at. So we'll have to get with the DFA for all that stuff.
Okay. Any more comments on that?
Mr. Chairman, we stand for any questions.
No?
Let me add one more thing too, Mr. Chairman. I see Nathan Sosi from Santa Ana Pueblo is online. I know some of the other members from Pueblo of Santa Ana. I see Chief is online as well. We'll make sure that they have a copy of all of these numbers as well by the end of the day, so that again everyone can digest them and we can prep that March budget session. Okay.
Good.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Any other comments or questions? Thank you. Next item is open discussion among members. Any discussion people have? Commissioner? Chief? Wayne? Any other comments you want to make? Ron? Amber?
No, thank you.
Do you think things are going okay?
Yes. They're really good. I'll talk about it more in the operations if I can.
Yeah.
Do you want me to give you a little bit of idea of how our training process
That's
works?
good.
Okay. It's a little bit of a long thing that I put down, but Mr. Chair, but I'll kind of give you a brief idea of how our process works. So Yvonne and I have to create the positions. So we open them. Once we receive the applications, then we review them to ensure the candidates meet the qualifications. From there, we determine who will move forward to interviews. We schedule the interviews, reserve a location, and contact each applicant, assigning them an interview time. Once we review or get the applicants ready, we review our questions, get them approved by HR, and then we initiate the interview process. After that, the candidate is given the opportunity to complete a sit-along, so they can sit in dispatch to see if the environment can fit what they are, wanting in the job. If selected, we do an extensive background investigation on them. Once they're cleared, we coordinate with HR to schedule their employee orientation date, which they have certain dates throughout each month. Following that, they do a 4 to 6 week classroom on the job training with me. And I sit on the floor and I actually train them live, hearing calls, doing, all of that stuff. We review SOPs, training materials. We go over law enforcement procedures, fire procedures, CAD processes. They do their ride-alongs with each agency. They also have to obtain their required certifications, EPD, EMD, EFD, CPR, anything that's needed to get them before they move to the floor. That way we don't take away from our staffing levels. If they have prior experience, we can actually adjust their phase to shorten it based on what they need. If they just need, if they're from dispatch and they just need to know our agencies, we can shorten the process a little bit. After that, they go to their trainee phase, which they go to their trainer for about 8 to 12 weeks. It just depends on what they need. They are assigned to the certified trainers and they rotate among them just to get kind of the experience, days, nights, those type of things. I do meet with them regularly to make sure the progress is going, to how things are going with their trainer and their training, to see if there's any issues, if we need to, concentrate on a certain topic of those nature. Once they're ready for release, they go to their supervisor observation, they take a final exam, and if they pass, then they're assigned to a shift based on their operational needs. So that's kind of the training process in a nutshell. It's kind of long, almost as long as an officer, but a little bit different because we're on the floor.
How long does it take?
It just depends. Right now we have, so one trainee, she just was released. She was in training for about 12 to 14 weeks. So about 3 months, 2 months, just depends on if they have experience, if they don't. If they do, it's obviously a lot shorter. It's like a lateral position over.
How good is the pool of applicants?
We actually have a really good pool of applicants. When we first did our first hire in July, we had over 100 applicants. So we had quite a bit. It was actually shocking to us. So it was cool. We got to actually look and see, who had experience, the type of people who were applying, and it was a lot. But we picked some good applicants because they're still with us today.
Where do most of them live as far as?
Kind of all around. Some live in Sandoval County, some live in Albuquerque, one lives quite far up in by Laguna. So, well, not that far up, but in that area. So yes. But our pool is really good. Our team is doing really great. And I think that, as the training progresses and we get a training coordinator and all those things, it's going to help kind of, standardize everything a little bit more than we already have it.
Yeah, I think the job is fairly complex in a way, and it has to be done
Yes.
correctly.
If you would like to come sit along, you're also more than welcome to do that, because I think that would help kind
Yeah.
of see what we do,
Yeah,
every day with our.
Go visit. you.
Yes, of course, we'd love to have
And,
you.
But yeah, really need applicants who are able to do the job and, can do it well. It's like,
Yes, and also handle the stress that we get every day. For example, we had a pretty hard call yesterday, so it was involving an infant. So it's kind of those type of things that we have to make sure that someone's able to handle it, move on, but also we take care of them as a center because, it's a person and they have feelings and those type of things. So.
how many calls you get a day?
Oof, that's hard to judge. It depends on the day. If it's windy,
Yeah.
rainy, we'll get quite a bit. What do you think? I don't know a number off the top of my head, but there is times where the phone does not stop ringing.
Mr. Chair, if I can add one thing, one of the things that we really emphasized when we were creating kind of this idea and moving forward after we had been kind of tasked with standing this up, and this is something that the operations group and Chief Martinez and myself really wanted to advocate for, is what can we do to ensure that the members of the team are taken care of to the best of our ability and ensure that the culture is positive. One of the things that I've learned in this new process is dispatch centers turn over a lot of staff, as do other public safety members, but dispatch centers especially. And a lot of times it can be the job, but a lot of times it can be the culture. And so one of the things that we really tasked the leadership is to be involved with the members, be supportive of the members, be on the floor with the members, make sure that they have what they need to be successful. If they want a specific keyboard or a specific headset to make their lives, better when they're at the job, we'll find a way to take care of them in those natures. And it's amazing how those little things go a long ways. But I feel like, and I'm not there every day, but I'd like Amber to touch on and be honest, like, how's the culture? Are we meeting our objective?
Yes, Mr. Chair, we actually are. Anybody that comes into our center, and I will speak on behalf of them, they comment of how everybody's so happy. They're just, it's a different culture than what they're used to going into other agencies. So I do think we've done really well, and I want to continue, Yvonne, and I want to continue to do really well, keeping our culture where we want people to come to work because they love to do their job as well as they love their employees. They love just everything about the whole center. And I think we're doing a fantastic job on it.
Do you have any special activities or events or awards or recognitions that you give to employees?
Yes, we do. We actually have 2 that we're about to give out coming in the next couple weeks. It's for high compliance on EMD and EFD. We actually got our first EFD high compliance, which is amazing. They have to follow their script. They have to make sure that they're, not trying to sound like a robot, but in the same sense, they're trying to, care for that person on the other line, but follow things completely and 100%. And they did. So we have those. We have our release from training that she just passed. Our next one is coming up soon. She'll be released hopefully soon as well. But just any of those things that show that, they're doing the job as best as they can with what they have, and they're doing an amazing job at it. That's kind of what we like to push.
Yeah,
Sorry, go ahead.
I was in the medical field for 50 plus years, and actually we have these national surveys as far as satisfaction of not only patients but employees, and a lot of the employee satisfaction. Money was important, but other factors are important too, right? The culture,
Right.
the attitude, just the workplace. Being recognized by supervisors, by fellow employees, by peers, by the community. And so, yeah, I totally agree that the workplace environment is really important, no matter what organization you're in. And I'm glad that seems to be pretty high.
Yes.
Mr. Chair, thank you. I actually might make a suggestion. We have recognized some of our dispatchers at our commission meetings, but it might be nice to have some of the other agencies like Corrales and Town of Bernalillo and even the council at Santa Ana do some public recognition or presentations with our dispatchers. That way we would get some of the public side of this out there a little bit more than just our commission meetings.
And actually, we can have dispatch team come and present at one of our council meetings. And
If-
just tell the governing body and tell the public, what's been happening and, that's
And
what is
we can make them available, Mr.
Mm-hmm.
Chair, to any agency, but also Telecommunicators Week is coming up in April, which is a nationwide thing, but we're going to be recognizing them at the county and doing a proclamation to recognize them. Perhaps the other agencies would be interested in doing that as well. And to your point, Mr. Chair, they could come kind of do a general brief of what they do and then perhaps be recognized by the other agencies. I think that's a great idea.
Yeah, I think maybe in the next month or two. I mean,
Okay.
we have a pretty jammed schedule right now, but yeah, we'd love to have you all come and just give 20-minute presentation what you do, what you think the challenges are, and how you've been successful and really starting this up by pulling by your own bootstraps and making it work. And I think the community appreciates it. I know that EMS calls are very appreciated in the village, and that so we'll have you all come and
Great.
maybe
Great.
give a presentation.
Thank you.
About the training.
Yeah.
Do we have anybody or any of the dispatchers, are they being sent to the DPS Dispatch Academy? Awesome.
Yes.
Mr. Chair, sorry. I spoke about that earlier. The state requires us to send the dispatchers 1 year from the date of hire. So, and the reason being is they'll train them per state, how the state certifies them, but also nationally. And every agency has different policy and procedures. So that year allows us to train them per our policy and procedures, but then it piggybacks off of what the state requires and what nationally is being trained. Then they're certified by the state. They have to continue CEs over continuing education, and they have to maintain their certification while they're employed in a PSAP. The great thing that the state just did as well is they did a cert by waiver for telecommunicators. We have a few that were telecommunicators. Their certs lapsed because they went into other professions, but then they came back to work with us. So they get to do a cert by waiver with the state, and even out of state applicants as well can do that. Right.
Great way to standardize training.
Right.
Appreciate you. Thank you.
Yes.
Actually, it'd be interesting as time goes on as far as the retention. Is sort of the bottom line about
Mr.
what-
Chair, that's a huge thing. I've been in this career path for 29 years, and retention is always the number one thing. But what I've realized in my tenure in this career path is that culture plays more of a role in that retention, especially in this stressful environment. So if you take care of the culture, you tend to take care of the retention, is what I've realized for us. We still have the 12 employees that started with us when we opened, and they're still there. Yes. So
That's good.
so it is,
Success
that's
after 20
it, and especially since, some of them didn't have any experience. So for them to have the tenacity and the motivation and, the dedication to this career is pretty amazing.
I would guess it's a fairly stressful job that you receive all these calls and their complaints or their problems. I mean, they're no simple, how you doing
Right.
today call.
Yes.
And, yeah, it's difficult. Any other discussion Commissioner, Chief, Eric, no,
Thank you, sir.
Amber?
No, thank you.
You're right. Okay, well, next board meeting, so we're gonna meet in March. This, on a Wednesday at 10 o'clock is fine by me, so,
Tuesday at 10 o'clock or Wednesday, sir?
either,
Okay, you're good either way?
yeah.
Okay, and then we would like to get the next required quarterly meeting on the books as well for May, or we could just do the March one and then just kind of see how it goes because we might stack them up. Would you prefer just to go that way?
Okay,
Okay,
Yeah.
we'll just do the March one for now. Okay, we'll get those a couple dates out and we'll get those to you, sir.
okay, cool. Any other items? It looks like we've covered all the business items, so meeting adjourned. Thank you very much. Thanks for coming and
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
appreciate your efforts.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Did I get to-
No, I'm not. Fox is my married name and my husband is from Colorado, so.
Okay.